Ladies and gents, welcome back. Yours truly, all things covered. Patrick Peterson, Bryant McFadden. We're back. P2, how you doing? How you feeling?
Man, feeling great, man. How you feeling, my guy?
Man, it's a great day to be alive, so I have no other choice but to feel amazing, man. I'm above ground.
Amen
Somebody
to
didn't
that.
wake up this morning. You feel me?
Amen to that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. There's a lot we're going to talk about in this episode. A lot of off-season news, of course, with our very own Pat Peterson. We're going to get an update about where he is when it comes to his off-season regimen. Of course, NFL headlines. The OTA session has started. Big time news with the guys back on the grass. Get a chance to talk a little bit about OTAs as well. Also, coming from our former teams, as we see it right now, right? Pittsburgh, the Steelers, they've been awarded the 2026 NFL draft. Big time news for Pittsburgh. The city is going to be fired up to be able to entertain not just Steeler fans, but the NFL fans, football fans in totality. Also, we're big time NBA fans. They're in the midst of the conference finals, the Eastern Conference finals, the Western Conference finals. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Pat P, I don't know if you heard, but there's an individual, and we're going to talk more about this during the episode. There's an individual that's suing a major university and a head coach. I want to get your take on that as well. And then finally, unfortunately, we want to tap in a little bit about what's going on when it comes to entertainment. We're all big time music fans. And of course, you guys have heard, you guys have seen Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, brotherly love, wasn't too lovely. And he's been going through a lot. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to keep it real here on this episode of All Things Covered.
Yeah, money, ain't that funny? I got haters, yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, ain't that funny? I got haters, yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock, bigger and I'm blacker, I am on that Chris Rock.
Pat, you been working out?
Oh, yeah.
You in shape?
Oh,
You feel good?
I'm always in shape,
Hey,
my guy.
I'm just making sure you feel good.
Hey, but it is a time limit, but I'm always in shape, my guy.
No question. Hey, well, with that being said, you made some headlines. You were a guest on Jim Rome's show, right? And great conversation between you two guys. And he talked about, what you would like to do or be a part of for 2024. And, I heard what you said, but our viewers might not have heard what you said. Could you talk about, elaborate a little more about your discussions and your aspirations of potentially trying to, if it makes sense, get back to Pittsburgh?
Well, like the conversation went, Jim just asked me, how you just asked me, how am I feeling? Am I in shape? This, that, and the other. What's my goals, going into the 2024 season? I just, laid it out to him because, I just felt like, being there in Pittsburgh, it was just, to me, it was just not necessarily a match made in heaven, but I was around a bunch of guys that I was, that I enjoyed being around, each and every day coming into the work building, no matter what the circumstances were, that everybody in that building had that same common goal, is to put our best foot forward and try to win this game that's in front of us. And it's not many teams that I've been a part of that everybody, including the organization, has been on the board with that. So to be a part of that, to know that you're going to get a fighting chance each and every opportunity. A fighting chance each and every chance that you step out there on the field, and the best from your organization each and every time you step out on the field. You can't do nothing but respect that. And, so I know the way the NFL is going, far as being wanting to, have youth on their team, but at the end of the day, it's still a grown man's business. You know what I mean? So we can, I know the league, talk about being young, but you still have guys that maybe are a little bit longer in the tooth, but have been, productive, being on the field when their number is called, being reliable, not being, one of those guys that you have to worry about, off the field. And not only that, being able to help these young guys learn how to be professionals, because so many of them come into the league, have no clue how to be a pro. You know what I mean? So it's almost impossible to have kids teaching kids in a sense. You know what I mean? So,
No question.
like I said, I expressed my aspirations of, the time and that I had with Coach Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Obviously the decision is not mine, but that is one place that I would like to finish up my career. Like I said, the time is not much. I am doing everything that I need to do to stay in shape, but
Mm-hmm.
the time is ticking for sure, because like I'm not trying to go into no one's training camp, mid camp, and just be behind the eight ball, because I've just been so used to knowing everything before I have to, before we have to hit the ground running, if that makes sense.
Well, one luxury, if this was to happen, if you were to go back to Pittsburgh mid camp or right before the season start, it's not a new playbook.
Exactly. And
TA
that's
is
why
still
I believe
there.
that now that in this stage, if it's not there, I'm going to be learning a new playbook.
A new
What I
playbook.
mean? And I played in, every position in the defensive backfield when I was there. But like I said, the league is all about youth nowadays. But
Yeah.
I still can play.
Would you?
I still want to play. I know I have my aspirations of my aspiration is to play another year. I still feel like I have something left in the tank to give an organization to help them win ball games.
Yeah. Now, would you be open to, because your entire career you've been a starter since day one? You know what I mean? Would you be open to being a part of a team in a backup like role, being able to mentor, as you mentioned, being available when needed?
Um,
Or would it have to be a starting situation?
No, I don't necessarily have to be a starting situation, because, like I said, I understand the way the league is going. But far as a backup role, it would have to be like a nickel position, because I feel like I can excel at a nickel position. I feel like I can guard who's ever number 2 or number 3 receiver in the slot, in the slot at the slot position of a defensive back. And I feel like I had, over the course of the year, I started to get more and more comfortable with the assignments. Taking the deep quarter flat drops, or the curl flat drops, the quarterback key drops. I started to get a feel for all of those things, because then you got to think about it. I never done those things in my career in an actual game. You know what I mean? So all of that was still kind of new for me, and I feel like I did a pretty good job at it. With the circumstances that was given to me. And hell, in the middle of the game, I had to play safety. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you did all. Injuries.
And that just goes to show, just on my behalf, it's just not, I just wasn't in the room studying cornerback. I'm studying everybody on the field, because you never know. Because Mac, you played in this game. When you go into a football game, it's only so many guys that can dress.
Yep.
And anything can happen in the ball game. You know what I mean? So who is going to be that guy if 1, 2, and 3 fall down? Who can we plug in that position? You know what I mean? So that's why I always took ownership on understanding and knowing everybody position in the defensive backfield, because you never know when your number may be called. And my number was called a couple times last year.
Yeah, and talking about that, knowing and getting acclimated to certain schemes and stuff like that, this is the prime time to do so. With that being said, OTAs, they just started. They're off and running. I was actually in Pittsburgh yesterday. I got a chance to watch their very, very first OTAs on the grass with this new assembled team for 2024. As we see it today, I think they had 100% attendance, you know what I mean, which is major. I got a chance to see Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, TJ. I'm sorry, it wasn't 100% attendance because Cam Hayward was not there. He's trying to get this negotiation going on, potentially get an extension. But for the most part, everyone was there with your former teammates. I got a chance to see. And I can tell you this much, Pat P, and for our viewers, it looks different with a new quarterback or new quarterbacks along with a new scheme. I had opportunity, like I said, to watch practice. I had opportunity to speak briefly to Arthur Smith, a very, very forthcoming guy. He's really embracing this new role with the organization. And I was so happy to see him because, there has been an Achilles heel for our team you know, the lack of creativity and the lack of production. And we believe Arthur Smith can kind of get this team in the right direction. So OTAs is off and running. Outside of Cam Hayward, everyone was there. George Pickens, Najee was there. TJ Watt, Highsmith, saw Mika. Got a chance to chop it up with JP Jr. as well. He spoke highly of you, as he still considers you to be his guy, a guy that really helped him excel his rookie campaign. And listen, man. And I had some conversations about you. You already know. You already know I'm politicking. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see how it goes. But OTAs is off and running, man. A lot has happened between the draft and now. But for the most part, everyone has kind of been on task. You got some guys that are holding out OTAs, guys in Dallas, CD Lamb, Micah Parsons. You got Brandon Ayuk. Did you ever held out in OTAs? You always kind of been the guy that's been there, right? You never really dealt with any money issues, right?
I was a guy that was always there for the most part, and until I started having kids, because with the kids they have activities that they may have, throughout the day. But for the most part, when it was mandatory to be there, I was there, and I did, especially when I was in Arizona. I missed like some Thursdays. Some Thursdays I had to do stuff with Peyton at the time when we were living there. So other than that, I was always there and everybody got different reasons. Like I was never in a position to where I was holding out because of my contract. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So everybody is different because, as you know, when you're out there in OTAs, it's not mandatory, but as a ball player, you still have the urge and want to get out there, but you still don't want to
be on the grass.
Still don't want to put yourself in a bad position to where you're hindering yourself on capitalizing on the big payday. So,
or what about this, Pat P? You go out there and you try to get a new contract, you tear ACL or Achilles.
That's what I'm saying. So anything can happen out there on the field when you are in contract negotiations. So I never really been in that position before, but for the most part, my attendance was, always to be there with the guys, work out, get the camaraderie up, go out to lunch, after workouts, whatever the case may be, just hang and chill just to get to know each other better, to where when we get in the heat of battle that we know that guy who we lining up with.
No question. So we'll see how it play out, but it's great to see Pittsburgh, pretty much have everyone on deck. And also too, Pat P, I was looking, I didn't see anybody with number 20. I gotta check. I gotta go back and check my artifacts again. But I ain't seen anybody with number 20. So
here you go with this, man.
I ain't, usually them numbers get given. You're a young guy and you play a skilled position. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not a wide receiver, if you're a running back, they got some young running backs, some young DBs. I'm like, man, give me that dub. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see.
That's a chosen number right there, man. That a dub.
Yeah, give me that dub. You don't want to be out there looking real slack. Not too many people can do a Troy Polamalu and wear 43 in the secondary.
Amen.
Or a Mika Fitzpatrick and wear 39.
Or me.
Ain't too many people can do that.
He wasn't on these guys' level, but he played like an all-pro guy. Rashad Johnson. You remember when he had that number 49?
Oh no, for that 46.
No, he had 49. And bro,
that 49.
Yeah, so the 3 years I played with Rashad, he probably had, I know he had 3 pick sixes for sure. And he had 2 games that he had 2 picks in. And the guy wasn't even a starter, Matt.
Man, listen, Rashad's rookie year was my first and only year in Arizona. And I said, bro, because I remember him at Alabama. And he had an ugly number at Alabama. His whole uniform was ugly.
The same number.
Yeah, the same number. Yeah, 49. His whole uniform was ugly. But boy, he made plays. But he was a walk-on at Alabama. But he made plays. And I remember when he got to Arizona, and he was a 3rd-round draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. And when you get drafted in that round, you can kind of pick a number, a good number. Right. He wanted to stick with that ugly 49. I said, bro, you 1 away from 50? Like, what size jersey are you going to give you? Because that's usually for a bigger guy. You 1 number away from 50, you play safety. Man, you can't be out there with a 2X jersey on, the sleeves all the way down by your elbow. And them socks, his sock game used to be slack looking. But he made plays.
A true story, Mac. So the year he became like an official starter, that's when he changed his number to 26.
Yep, he did. Yep. Yeah, and he still made plays. But boy, I said, man, you can't.
Made
Because
plays.
the secondary, it's a camaraderie like thing. It's a group thing. You don't want to have one guy kind of just looking like he don't belong. It kind of messes with the swag of the entire unit. But Shaw was like, man, this 49 made me at Alabama.
You already know. As a DB, what you doing? You walking by everybody, all the corners in the safeties locker room.
Yeah.
What you rocking today?
Man, that's like with them ugly helmets, with them Revolution helmets when they first brought them into the game, bro. You can't be out there with that chicken coop on, bro. If you're gonna go to sleep, you're gonna go to sleep. The helmet, I don't care how many shells they got in there. I don't care how deformed it looks. You're gonna go to sleep. Yeah, it don't matter what you got. They talk the Revolution helmets. They gonna prevent you from going to sleep. No, it's not preventing you from going to sleep. When it's time to go night, you going night.
It's calling concussion, man. Not no
yeah, they prevent that. They got these. They were like, so they were at that one time they tried to make everybody wear them chicken. I said, I'm not going out there with that Revolution helmet on, boy. That chicken coop, man. It make your head look bigger, man. And I said, man, what y'all talking about, man? I said, just let me go to sleep.
Let you go to sleep. Speaking of the NFL, what you think about the new electronic measurements?
I don't like it. The reason why I don't like it because even though the chain gang will still be a second option, right? If something goes wrong with the electronical, adjusting and seeing if it's a first down. But eventually, if it works well, they're going to remove the chain gang folks away from the game, and that takes jobs away.
But it's just for the preseason. I do know this, Matt, but I don't think they're going to implement it for this season. Just because
if they don't, it's coming. If it works, if they think it's workable, it's coming. Now you taking people. The chain game. You got people who've been working the chains for years, and it's a source of income to provide.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it electronically, right? Listen, the NFL makes a lot of money.
The NFL is going just like Target, Walmart, Publix, all them places.
Man, stop taking jobs away from people.
Check out.
Man, no. Man, keep the chain gang out there, man. Keep them people out there. That's someone's livelihood. You don't need to have robots controlling everything. You don't. Right. What are we talking about?
So what are you saying to these fast food restaurants talking about? They're gonna do everything by robots. So when you place your order,
I don't like that either.
You don't like that either?
I don't like that either. I don't like that. And the main reason is because you're taking jobs away from people. Humans. And I get that. Right? And I agree with you. The second thing I don't like about a Pat P, how can I have a dispute or transparency with a robot? I ordered this, the robot bring me this. Hey, bruh, excuse me, miss. I didn't ask for waffle fries. I wanted regular fries. Like, how do we have this back and forth? Is the robot gonna talk to me?
Yeah, the robot gonna talk to you. Just like
the robot gonna talk to me. Is the robot gonna be transparent and have an open mind when it comes to dialogue?
Amazon Prime, all of them, just how.
Man, I don't want to do no robot.
I'm talking right back to you, Cat. Hey, the world is going futuristic, my guy.
Man, I don't know. I'm old school. I'm old fashioned. I love how things have been. The chain. Think about this, Pat P. The chain gang has been a part of the NFL world for as long as I can remember. We've had no issue.
Hey, hard hits have been too.
I mean, but people keep going to sleep. I mean, they don't want to have that image be associated.
You protect somebody from getting hit hard, bro. Going at 100.
I mean, you can't. But in regards to the chain gang is not a health hazard. These guys have been doing a great job. How many times have you played in the league? And you
since 100 years. Slammed on that.
I'm just saying, Pat. I don't like it. Man, don't take jobs away from people, man, out here, man, making a good, honest living.
Yeah, it is. I get that, but man, the way the world's going, the way the league it's all trendy. Like whatever's trendy, it is. That's whatever organization feel that's going to make their organization better. That's what they're going to go with.
But that don't mean it's the right thing to do. Like one analogy I say all the time in regards to decisions. If you at the blackjack table and you hit on 18 and hit 21, it's still the wrong thing to do.
I agree.
You got luck. It's not the right thing to do.
That's beginner's luck right there, man.
Yeah, you're not supposed to hit 18. You go hit 18, you hit 21, you think you feel good. No, bro, it was the wrong thing to do. In this regards, I don't think even though they're testing it, the NFL don't just test. They
No, they don't
plan.
test.
It's a plan, no question. It's only a matter of time. And keeping it with the NFL, Pittsburgh, they will host the 2026 draft. Pat, have you been to a draft? Have you attended the draft outside of the draft you got drafted in?
No, just
listen. And you got drafted in New York.
Yeah, I got drafted. At Radio City Hall, where everybody.
Yeah, I was there with you.
Yeah.
You got drafted in New York, so you know what? I can't remember when they started having destination drafts, but it's been going on for quite some time. They've been a hit. I've attended a few myself, and they've been phenomenal. The draft has been phenomenal in these different cities. I've been to the one in Nashville. I've been to the one in Vegas. I've been to a few. Of course, this past draft, it happened in Detroit. Detroit was phenomenal. A year before that, Kansas City. In 2025, it's in Green Bay, right? So with that being said, Pittsburgh is hosting it, and it's going to be phenomenal. I know the fans are already starting to plan. Like I said, I was just in Pittsburgh, downtown, as you know, Pat P. You only know Pittsburgh for what you saw when you was there a year ago. When I first got drafted, it was different. You know what I mean? It wasn't as entertaining as it is now when you talk about having things to participate in. You got the casino. You got so many things. So that's great for Steeler Nation. And man, hopefully, that draft can happen, after a great season when you talk about what happened the season before. So trending news coming from the NFL world, blessing the Rooneys and the Steelers organization in the city with the draft in 2026. Hit us with your thoughts in the comment section. Hit us with your thoughts in regards to Pat P. Would you welcome Pat P back to the Steel City? Or is there another team they would love to have Pat P be a part of their young secondary? What about the chain game? Do you want to keep the chain game in the game like me? The hell with robots. We don't want to hear them robots. No, keep the chain game in the game. Hit us in your comment section. Let us know. We'll be right back. Hit you with another few topics. Get your entertaining sites as well. Stay tuned. Stay with us. So, Pat P, I know you've been, watching the NBA playoffs. This is the most entertaining time for basketball, NBA wise, because every game matters, right? I know it's a 7-game series in the playoffs, but every game matters. We're in the midst of the conference finals. Eastern Conference already took place. Boston found a way to get a win. I think it was more about Indiana giving that game away than Boston winning it. My personal opinion. Love to get your take as well. And of course, tonight you have, as we record this episode, Minnesota is getting ready to go to battle against the Dallas Mavericks. So, what were your takes about the Celtics game, against the Pacers, game 1? Like I said, I felt like Indiana gave that game away more so than Boston winning it. But what was your take on it?
To be honest with you, I did not watch the game because I was busy last night. And that was the only reason why I was not able to watch the game. But seeing how the game, I watched the highlights, and obviously
the highlights were a great summary of what happened.
It was a great summary, but it don't tell the story of what really happened. So I missed what really happened in the ball game. But looking at the highlights, it looked like a phenomenal game on both sides of the court. So, but like I said, I was not able to watch the game. And you're saying Indiana pretty much gave the ball game away. So my question to you is,
what you got?
So you felt that Indiana gave the game away, since I did not watch the game.
Okay, so Indiana, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. If you can find them, that'd be dope as well. But I think Indiana had north of 20 turnovers, right? North of 20 turnovers on the road, and they still had the game in their hand. That's one luxury they had at their disposal, because if you play that type of sloppy basketball against a team like Boston, 9 times out of 10 you might get blown out, right? But they still had that game in their hands. So under 10 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, Indiana is up 3 points, Pat P, under 10 seconds to go. They have the ball. It's an offensive possession for Indiana. All they got to do is inbound the ball. Inbound the ball. That's all they got to do. Great defense by Boston, but careless play by Indiana, in my opinion. Didn't inbound the ball properly. Some people felt like it was a foul on Jaylen Brown on Siakam that led to Siakam knocking the ball out of bounds. The referees didn't call anything, but you don't put the game in the referee's hands. Turnover. So now Boston gets the ball. It's probably 5 or 6 seconds left on the clock. Inbound the ball for Boston. So you know they need a 3. You can't afford to try to get a 2. You ain't got enough time.
Yep.
And you saw the highlight. Jaylen Brown, corner 3, bam, tie the game. Number one, the reason why I felt like Indiana gave that game away is because in that inbound situation, for you to inbound the ball, you don't have a turnover at all. You cannot allow Boston to get the ball back. Worst case scenario, they foul you soon as you get the ball in your hands. You go to the free throw, make at least one, get out of there with a victory. Right. So that's why I felt like you had 22 turnovers, but you still was able to overcome those turnovers, Pat P, and still have a lead under 10 seconds to go. Not a 1-point lead, not a 2-point lead, a 3. And then an unbelievable corner 3 led to overtime, and that was a wrap. It was like when the game got into overtime, you already knew what was going to happen. The momentum, Boston kind of got a second life, and it led to them winning that ball game. So that's why, you watch a lot of basketball. In that situation, on the road, your team like Indiana, you up 3, you just got to inbound the ball. Like, go. That's supposed to be a dub for you.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the most fundamental things in basketball. It's finding a way to inbound the ball.
Yeah. You just want to catch it and hold on. You know they're going to attack you. They're going to foul you.
Yeah.
Like, don't hit the ball out of bounds. And people saying, well, it was a foul. You shouldn't have been in that situation. Rick Carlisle should have came out with a better inbound play. They should have executed better. They would have been up 1-0. 1-0. And the thing I don't like about this situation for Indiana is because you want to get one game on the road. You want to, worst case scenario, you want to split. Best case, you want to win both. But that was your game to win.
Right. Being
up under 10 seconds. And Boston in the playoff side of things, game 2 has always been their worst game because they get off to, they blow you out game 1. Game 2 has been their worst game. I think for Boston, that kind of woke them up. So game 2, you're probably going to get a better Boston, collectively speaking, when it comes to effort, and they might blow Indiana out of the waters. Indiana's not the better team, even without Porzingis in the lineup. Indiana just, that's why game 1 was so important for them because they actually should have won that ball game.
Yes.
And now you're going to get a Boston team that's probably going to be clicking better on all cylinders than what they did in game 1.
Right, and have an opportunity to go back, film study, watch the mistakes that they did. Because, like you said, Boston is the better team on paper.
Yeah, even without Porzingis. Yep.
Yeah, on the court, it don't matter where you put them. They are the better team. But, Mac, I got my Miho on the phone right now. Miho, say hello to All Things Covered, man. Say hello to All Things Covered.
What up?
So tell me, when we was in when we was out in where were we? Prescott, Arizona.
Yeah.
Who did I say my favorite is to win the championship?
You said Minnesota.
I said that when the playoff first started, right?
Right.
I just want to put that on All Things Covered so everybody don't think I was bandwagoning.
Oh, you had to go get some get your confirmation, your source.
Yeah, I had to go through a source.
Hey man, but you know what they say, even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
All right, get your ass on my phone. But anyway,
so you rock with Minnesota.
No doubt about it. Minnesota is the team to beat right now just because not only the energy that they play with, the defense that they have night in and night out, and how they're able to smother teams, and they're big at every position.
That is long. They got length.
Man, I'm telling you, that's a team right now that in my opinion, that's the favorite, especially if Boston don't get Porzingis back. I think that's going to
even if they get Porzingis back, that's a bad matchup, I think, for Boston.
Yeah. But I said Minnesota even before the playoff first started. I said Minnesota just might win the world championship this year.
They got length in the best possible, the worst possible matchup for Minnesota was the team they just beat in Denver.
Exactly.
Because they got a big man that can bang with both of those 7-footers they got.
Exactly. 100%.
And the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, Denver didn't have the depth, but the way they handled their rotation along with the Joker, they had to throw different bodies at Joker. Yeah, it won't be another dominant force at the big man role for them. Like Dallas, they don't have a big men that can really dominate offensively at all. You know, those guys are mostly put back guys, rebound, dish out, try to get the garbage however they can get the garbage. So now I'll say this much though. I'll tell you this much now. I agree with you. I think Minnesota has the best chance to win it all, but they're playing against two dudes that are straight killers.
They are, and here's my only
basketball
thing
terminology. They're straight killers.
Yes.
What you got?
The only thing I don't like about Dallas is that Luka and Kyrie, yeah, they make those shots, but they just take like some very hard contested shots, time in and time out. How long do you think that's gonna last?
But that's what they do. They're great at that.
And I get that they are great at that, but if you going back to championship teams who made run off what they did and felt short because they wasn't on that night. We're gonna go back to Orlando Magic. They had probably one of the best 3-point shooting at that time. Through 3-point shooting percentage, in league history. I think that was in 2009. I think. Something like that. He got in the finals, went cold, couldn't make no shots. Same thing with the who else was another team? The Warriors. Obviously, they Draymond got suspended, but we all know 72 winning team. They got there, the shots wasn't falling. Kyrie and Luka, they are great. They are great, but how long are those difficult shots gonna fall? At this pivotal time.
Now,
that's my only question.
I'll say this. For either guy, they both can get to the rim at any given time, especially Kyrie.
They can, but Luka
Luka got that post game as well.
He does have the post game, but here's what I like about Minnesota. Their defense, their smothering defense. You got Rudy Gobert, that's going to be protecting the paint. You got Mike Conley, that's going to be guarding whoever. You got Ant-Mac, that's who's going to be guarding probably Kyrie. So that's kind of, Xing out. I don't know what the game plan is, but we're going to see here in a little bit. And then who else they got Minnesota got as a 3 who can probably be on Luka. But their size there is what
McDaniels?
McDaniels. Their size.
I think McDaniels,
as far as who Luka's been going up against, what I've been able to watch throughout the playoff, it's been guys that he's been bigger than. I feel like now those difficult shots going to be much more difficult.
I'll put Ant-Man on Luka, and the reason why, because he's a little more stockier than McDaniel. McDaniel long, but he's light. Luka can post him down and just and slow man game him, but Ant is more stronger. He can handle Luka a little better, I think, in the post because of his strength. So it's going to be real entertaining. I think it's going to come down for me, huh?
I said, Ant gonna have to go out both of them. We got to pick his spoils.
Yeah, but I would put Ant on Luka first.
Yeah, I've been saying Luka beginning of the game, second quarter, late second quarter, put him on Kyrie, see how the flow of the game going, and then we go from there. Yeah.
So it's gonna be entertaining. The game's about to kick off in a few. So hit us up in our comment section for all our basketball fans. Let us know what you think on either side, from the East, from the West. Pat P is taking Minnesota to win it all. We always come back to see how he does when it comes to giving his prediction. I'm not far-fetched away from that as well. I think Minnesota's going to win it all, but it's going to be an entertaining Eastern and Western Conference Finals. All right, we got a few more topics we want to hit with you guys before we let you guys go. Big news coming from college football, right? Jaden Rashada, big-time recruit a year ago in the 2022 class, I think it was. He was at Arizona State. He just transferred to Georgia, Pat P. But Jaden Rashada is suing Gators coach Billy Napier. Sunbelt Billy is what the folks in Tallahassee call him. And the program's top booster over a failed name and image likeness deal worth nearly $14 million.
Yeah.
$14 million. So basically, Napier and their top booster, last name Hugh Hathcock, I guess he's a big-time booster for Florida. But apparently, Napier and Hathcock lured Rashada away from Miami with a $13.85 million NIL deal that violated NCAA bylaws, the suit said. The lawsuit says Napier vouched for the collective and said Rashada would receive a $1 million bonus on signing day. But before Rashada could arrive to Florida, to the campus, the contract was terminated suddenly without warning, according to the suit. It's a 30-page complaint. Says Rashada tolerated several delays in getting paid before ultimately being left with no faith in the UF football team's leadership and the individuals who had consistently lied to him. Rashada was granted release a month after his NIL deal fell through. He later signed with his father's alma mater in Arizona State, spent one season in Tempe before just transferring to Florida's biggest rival, Georgia. So long story short, they promised Rashada over $13 million. Now, I don't know if that was for 1 year or throughout the entirety of his college career. They promised this man $13 million to sign, and I think Miami was saying they were going to give him over $9 million. So Billy Napier and his staff and his collective in Gainesville said, no, we're going to do that one up. We're not going to just give you a little more than what Miami, quote unquote, was offering you. We're going to give you $13 million. Pat Peters was a guy who in high school hadn't played one snap in college ball. They said he was a pretty good high school player. He was in Pittsburgh, California, right? He threw for 5,200 yards, over 1,500 yards, and 59 touchdowns. Initially agreed to play for Miami in the fall of 2022.
So he threw for 5,000 in his whole high school career.
Yeah. I know. Was that his whole high school career? No, that couldn't have been. He couldn't have been. He had to throw that for one season. He had to have been 5,000 one season. Got to be. Unless he was a one-year starter.
Okay.
Well, so what are your thoughts about that? Being a former recruit at one point in time and not just hearing what's going on. And now he's suing. Now it's all about what can you prove, right? Like, it's all about what can you prove. But
he signed the contract, right?
Well, he said there were promises that was made. Now I don't know if he has anything documented down. Did he sign?
Don't even matter.
Now, but I would think for him to have the type of representation that he has legally, there has to be some type of proof that a lawyer would need to see to be able to say, I'm going to represent you and your family. That's what I think.
Yeah. If ain't nothing signed, man, I don't know what more proof you going to get. They can word them out. They can say,
I got a question, Pat.
They could be
I'm all for.
They can send a text message like, I'm going to offer you $13 million. They're not obligated to still pay you $13 million.
No, they're not. That's a homeboy. That's a neighborhood contract.
Right. So if it's nothing signed, what are we suing?
It got to be some type of documentation somewhere.
Yeah, I can't wait for more to come out.
But and I listen to our viewers, man. Let us know how you feel about the NIL landscape. I think there's some critiquing that needs to be done,
man,
expeditiously, like right now.
They need to make these kids, not make them, but have these kids be just contract workers at that university. Because at that time when they're making the university that, lump sum of money or whatever, bringing the viewers, the eyes on that university. So I don't know what they would have to do to make it happen, but the NIL thing is that need to get out the window because there's no holds bars. Like nobody understand what the rules are. Nobody understand what is real or what's fake. So why not the institution? Because you're the one who's making the money at the end of the day. Why not the institution just come up with a contract, be like, all right, all of our student athletes, because when I was in school, when I was standing on campus, we were getting $283 a month. Like, how the hell we gonna live on that? Then if you live off campus, you was getting $1,500. Mind you, the apartment that we living in is probably $15. So you split if you lucky enough to get a roommate that you could be able to split it with.
Yep.
So make it more feasible to where these kids are contract workers. If you want to continue to put the best product out there and stop having these kids go through these transfer protos, have a contract in place. And if you're not able to, have a 3-year contract, whatever it is, have your contract in place. And if you end up, transferring or whatever, your contract's terminated. Have it just like the NFL. get their ass ready for the NFL because that's what they're going to get ready. That's what they're going into at the end of the day.
Another thing I like to add to that too.
I don't know how they would do it, but
That-
I
that-
think that should be something that they should implement if they want to give.
That's a cool point. Yeah, that's a cool point. Another thing I add too as well in regards to kind of copying what the NFL does. The NFL has a salary cap for every organization that every organization has to abide by, right? When you look at college football, every university should have a cap where they can't exceed money-wise. How in the world you telling me there was a university offered one kid $13 million?
Come on,
That's
man.
$13 million. Like, I don't know how good he is. But Lord, my goodness, when you get paid $13 million, heck, Jordan Love only getting $11 million from Green Bay this year.
Think about it, Mac.
Before he gets extension.
That's the reason why they put the salary cap in the NFL rookie draft. Because of this.
That's why there's a salary cap in totality with the NFL.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So now the NCAA, they totally dropped the ball in regards to making this accessible. Name, image, and likeness for guys to benefit from. They should have had a better game plan in place. Number one, they should have emphasized academics to a degree, I think. You know what I mean? Number two, they should have limited the opportunity for these kids to transfer, because now what we're seeing is just like free agency in the NFL. These kids are not going to these universities based on the scheme, the coaching, and them being able to develop. They're going to the university that offer the most money, just like NFL guys do mostly. Like, who offering me those? Who offered me this? I'm going there. So for the NCAA, when you made this a thing, because you can transfer whenever you want to, you can go to LSU 1 year, get paid from LSU, and say, you know what? The scheme ain't working for me. I ain't starting. Guess what I'm going to do? You can transfer to Auburn.
Right.
And get more NIL money and say, you know what? I'm going to play here. That's what Quentin Ewers did. He went to Ohio State, got his NIL money, and then transferred to Texas.
Man,
I'm all for guys getting paid. I don't want people to think I'm not. But the NCAA, they mismanaged this as worse as possible, as worse as it can be. They should have a cap for every university. I don't care if you Oregon, Alabama. This is the NIL cap for every collective. You can't exceed this. So now you got to allocate this money to as best as possible for you to get your roster together.
Right. So everybody's
that's good. Yes, everybody on the even plan. So now you can't sit here and say Florida can offer this kid $13 million and somebody only offer him $5 million. No, if you all got a cap and it's the same amount, you got to evenly allocate that money, and you got to do something for this transfer. Because, man, this man went to Arizona State for 1 year, Pat, and started. And I don't know if he started the whole year, but he played. Just to transfer to Georgia, because who knows, Georgia might have offered him more money NIL. He's going to be a backup to Carson Beck.
Right.
And guess what? If it don't work out at Georgia, guess what he's going to do then?
Yep.
Now, I know one thing about the NFL, Pat P. When you sign a contract, you just can't sit up and tell Pittsburgh, I don't want to play for y'all no more. I'm going to transfer.
Right.
I'm going to transfer. Come on, NCAA.
Look at the Eagles this year. I mean, next year.
Yeah, it don't work that way. They need to adapt as much from the NFL as possible in regards to the salary cap and how things are allocated. And now you can have a better structure in place for these kids, because it's the wild, wild west. I'm all for one, like you, kids getting paid something.
I'm all.
But to limit things like this that happened to Rashada, where someone verbally say, I'm going to give you this, and for kids and for a lot of parents that might not be, financially savvy to understand the logistics of what these schools are offering you. And if it ain't writing, it ain't real. That's a neighborhood contract.
Exactly.
I don't like neighborhood contracts at all.
I did see that writing. And I
no question. So we're going to
after you done signing, like, ting, yeah, we just signed that deal.
No question. Let's put something documented down. Let's sign it. Let me keep my copy. You send me my copy in my email. And if y'all don't want to pay me what y'all say y'all was going to pay me, because he said he's supposed to get $1 million signing bonus on signing day.
And so when he say signing day, he meaning the signing day that was coming up when he was at Arizona.
When he signed his name on signing day, he was supposed to get $1 million right there.
No, I get that. So when this is when he was in the when he was transferring, or this was when he was
No,
coming
this
out
was
of
coming out of high school. High school. That was part of the agreement with the NIL deal from Florida. Because initially Miami was offering him $9.3 million.
Mm.
Florida said we'll do one up for you and we'll give you $1 million when you sign.
Man, boy, I wish I was in college nowadays.
Oh yeah, Pat P, coming out of college, coming out of high school right now as a 5-star, you probably get north of 400, 500 a year.
Man, I was a 5-star, number 1 at my position, and number 3.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably been close to a meal ticket.
My goodness. My goodness, man. It's crazy.
A freshman. You don't even know if you're any good in college football yet. You don't know. They're just gonna pay you close to the meal because you a 5-star.
I have no clue.
And you got everybody coming at you. They don't know if you're good.
Right. Penny Hardaway just said it best today. I saw this on Instagram. He said, man, I got kids making more than my assistants right now.
And most of them ain't gonna go to the NFL or NBA.
Right.
Boy, me too. Boy, I said I need some back pay or something, man. Give me a little something.
But hey, man,
Yeah.
timing is everything.
Yeah. But NCAA, please, man, come together and act like adults. Put a better structure in place so you can kind of limit some of this foolishness that's associated with NIL. Yeah. It's the NCAA fault for doing what they did. I, for one, would love for these universities to just separate yourself from the NCAA and come up with your own collective bargaining agreement, your own union, own players union, and just do it like that. Because clearly the NCAA can care less. They just watching this foolishness from afar. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see how it play out. But yeah, Pat P, I got to see what happened with this lawsuit between Rashada and Florida and Sunbelt Billy.
They ain't gonna get far.
We're gonna see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
From what the information that you fed me,
yeah,
I ain't getting far.
I wonder how much they suing them for. I got to look and see how much. Oh, he want the whole 13 that they promised?
They want the money. Yeah, exactly. They want the money that they talk.
You about to give a freshman or sophomore $13 million in college on campus?
Hey man, that man want the money they talked about, man. What you think he's suing for? $2 million?
Yeah.
That man want all the money that they promised him. As you
exactly.
said.
Yeah. We're gonna see how it play out. Before we let you go, Pat P, last thing we want to talk about as I introed in the show, P. Diddy, brotherly love. Like, there's a lot been going on, man, throughout the last few months, man. But most recently, man, the whole video. Before I give my take, man, when you saw the video, what was the first thing came to your mind? Like,
man, the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, come on, man. Like, this is a female. Not only a female, a person who you say you love, right? And you're treating her like an animal. Like a stray dog, like someone someone that you saw on the street, right? And then I next thought about, I got 2 daughters, 2 girls. Like I've never raised my voice at my wife. I never even thought about putting my hands on my wife. And to see that, and if my girls was to come home and said that, their significant other put their hands on them, he got to do more than pay for a lawsuit or hush-hush money or whatever he did. Like, he gonna have to pay, he gonna have to see by me, man, because as a father, I'm a protector. That's my job. That's my duty. I'm a provider. So if my baby's getting treated like an animal, like a dog, and I don't do nothing, and I don't have, and I can't put forth the effort to do something about it, I'm not doing my job. You know what I mean? As a dad. So I was very disgusted by that video, man, because no man should be putting their hands on a woman, man. And there's more people out there like that. He just happened to be caught on video, but that was just very disturbing, man. I hate to even just talk about it, to be honest with you, because as a dad of 2 girls, Like, I know there's men out there like that. And I honestly, Mac, I'm not bullshitting you, man. I put myself through those scenarios all the time. Far as I know most guys may not want to think about this, but what if your daughter get raped? That's a real life scenario. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to react from that? Because at the end of the day, your daughter's going to be coming to you looking for protection, looking for guidance, looking for comfort. So I put myself through those situations all the time because I want to know how I'm going to react if that situation comes apart. So that's how I felt when I first saw it, man. And it was just very sad to see, man. It really was.
I'll say this, you hit on the head in regards to being a parent. And for all our viewers that are watching us, number one, we thank you for watching us. But number two, for all our parents that are watching us, especially fathers, you said something very, very important. It's our job to be protectors.
Yep.
Not just to our significant others, our wife or our girlfriends, but to our children that we brought into this world, especially females, right? Especially the female. I don't know Cassie's, parent situation growing up, the structure or whatever the case may be. But for fathers that are watching us, when you have a daughter, when you have a son, it's the same thing. But when you have a daughter, you want to make sure you establish a relationship where she feels like she can talk to you about whatever.
Whatever.
Even if you're not in the house with your daughter or your son 24/7, you want to make sure you establish that transparency early. Because when they get out into the adult world, they're going to be exposed to a lot of things coming from the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have that relationship already in place where your daughter comes up to you and say, Dad, I'm talking to such and such. He does this, we do that. How should I handle it? Because as a father, you can give your daughter information about a man way better than the mom can give her about a man. Because we're men. We think a certain type of way. We've been exposed to so many different men in our life. We know about the ones that lie, that manipulate, the ones that are aggressive, verbally abusive, physically abusive. We've seen it all.
Right.
We've seen it all. We've seen it all as men. That's like the women can tell our sons about things that we can't tell them that women will do because they're women. They've been exposed to that. So when you have that type of relationship with your daughter growing up, when she gets into these type of conundrums, guess what she gonna do? You know what? Let me talk to my old boy. Let me talk to my dad. Let me see. Is he hitting me with some BS? Like, is this something? He hit me one time. He said he'll never do it again. Should I believe him?
Right.
You got to provide a saving for them. Secondly, what I want to talk about, when they agreed to the civil suit, Diddy agreed to pay. In the civil suit, what happened was expressed, right? It was exposed to all of us. What happened? For those who read the entire documentation about what happened, you knew what she said he did to her. You should have already felt some type of way based on what was expressed. Now, one thing about a civil suit, she didn't press any charges. She was just suing based on the damages that occurred to her throughout that relationship. Diddy agreed to pay. I know people say when people agree to civil suits, it's not a sign, it's not admitting guilt. You're just trying to get this thing out of the way. Shit. I feel like when you do agree to pay someone, you kind of indirectly admitting to some wrongdoing. Right. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I don't know how viewers feel, but it's almost like indirectly you're saying, I ain't really saying I did everything they said I did, but I did do a little something. Right. Because if you didn't do anything to any degree, you just ain't giving nobody no check.
No, not for that much money.
Right?
I don't even know how much he gave her.
But then when we see the video, it's like, oh man, I couldn't believe he did this. Well, the documentation said he already did this. Right. So that was but you saw it now. You're like, okay, wow, the woman said the man was beating her, abusive verbally and physically. She said that, but you needed to see it to really say, oh shoot. And then last thing I say, now with all of these people that was associated to either P. Diddy personally or both Cassie and P. Diddy, for all of those guys or girls, but mostly I've seen more guys talk about this. For all of those people who saw some type of abuse being done from Diddy to Cassie, and you didn't speak on that as a man, you enabled him.
Yeah. True.
Don't come out now and say, yeah, I saw when he shook her or when he punched her in the side. And
like, come on, man. Like, you know, like, and that was going back to my point, what I was about to say in my what I was going to bring up to you. Like, we hear about, oh, it's the environment that we grew up in. But at some point, as a human being, we know right from wrong. Ain't no way around that. At some point in your life, you know right from wrong. And that ain't no way that was right doing that to the women. Whoever's coming out and saying, the things that he did, because like Charlamagne the God said, like anything that you say right now, we can't believe nothing that you say since this video, because when it first came out, he was like, now I've done none of these things that's coming out in these documents.
yeah,
they trying to
that's what he said.
name this, that, and the other. But this video, boy, that go a long way, because that's who you are, man. If you're doing that to her and all these other people,
No question. That's a part of you. That's a part of you, and it's been a part of you for a long, long time. That just doesn't emerge. And I think when you reach the status that he reached, he felt like he was powerful. He felt like he was powerful. Granted, financially you were, but that's it. And that created a monster, and everyone else enabled him. You saw that man slap that girl. Hey, bro, what you doing? Why you doing that? You ain't supposed to put your hands on that woman. I don't care how pissed off she made you. Speak on that. No, man, no, don't hit no woman like that. You know what? But they were all getting paid by Diddy, probably. You know what I mean? So they were willing to, flush their integrity down the drain to keep that paycheck rolling, knowing that this man was beating her or whoever else he potentially could have been beating. Who knows? And you saw that, and now you want to speak out on her behalf after the fact that she done been beat up and kicked and everything like that. Oh, nah, man, as a man, your job to speak up, especially if that's someone who you have dealings with. Like, come on, man. I couldn't let one of my friends just be knowingly beat up a woman. Like, what? Come on, bro. I can't rock with you.
Time and time again.
No. Nah, stop doing that, bro. That ain't right. That ain't right.
I can't be nobody I even work with or be around. Because
you can't be associated with that person like that? No.
That I follow. Like, I'm not really hitting no woman that's, less able than, half the strength that I have. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. But man, it's a tough situation to be in, man. You hate to see anyone go through what she went through, or some of the other people that are saying things happen to them. But as I stated, when it comes to being a father, you have a son or a daughter, make sure there's a sense of transparency that is there, because when they embark in different difficulties in life, if they feel like they can't talk to you, they're going to talk to somebody they shouldn't be talking to.
Exactly.
Or they're going to keep it internally.
Right. And that's where I was coming from. Like for me, watching these guys, like these artists, and the things that they have going on outside of their music career, like obviously that have nothing to do with me, because everybody have a life of their own. But to see that, man, and it just hit home, because like I said, like we have daughters and they're gonna be in the world someday. At some point, they're gonna have to leave the nest. And you want to try to do your job, the best job to your ability, to not only put them up on game on things to look for, because you and I, we've been in certain rooms, we've been in certain rims, you know what I mean, around certain people, you know what I mean? So we can give them little nuggets on things to look for, things not to do. This may get offered to you since you're going to be a good looking girl. You know what I mean? It's just putting them up on game. And when I just saw that, I was like, man, he was just, for one, just holding the money over her head, just holding the power.
Holding the money over her head.
Yeah.
And
nothing she can do. And I don't know if that was the case, but that's just what it looked like.
Yeah. And for me, I feel like, shoot, Cassie, she should have pressed charges on him. Forget the civil suit. Man, I understand the financial
That dude need to be in jail.
Benefit could make you feel better to some degree, but you should have pressed charges from jump. Like, forget trying to get a bag, man. Press charges on this man. Because that happened in 2016. Who knows what else he did between 2016 and now with other women. Right?
Coming out
now I know, say it again.
I said they coming out slowly.
Yeah, my goodness. Like that's a tough situation to be in, but we're gonna see how it all play out. But man, for fathers, man, are tuning in, watching this, man, be the protector. If you're not living with your children, try to be there as much as possible. Make them feel loved. Tell your daughters they're beautiful. Tell them that you love them so they don't feel like they have to belittle themselves to feel like they're getting love that they never received growing up in a household, being told they're beautiful and being able to have to accept someone like a Diddy who do them wrong, but yet and still he kind of make me feel like I'm loved.
Mac, you know what I tell my girls almost each and every morning, man, that y'all are the most powerful people, human beings in the world, as far as a woman, a women culture, like just being a woman, being a female. Like, you're the most powerful thing in the world. So treat yourself like it, act like it, respond like it. And you're just going to get that because, like, you don't have to, like, growing up, far as, when I was a kid back in the 90s, you just hear about guys doing this or, as far as being, being the caretaker, being, I want you to stay home. But at the end of the day, women have their own identity and they have way more knowledge than we do as guys, because women are just so much more intellect. They're so much more, it's more thought through, if that makes sense, whatever the situation may be, you know what I mean? So I tell my girls each and every morning, man, just continue to use that power that you have, and that's being a female, man, and that's being a guy. It's so many guys that's so egotistic that it's me. But if it ain't no woman, how if there's no female in the world, how is there a world? How can we be satisfied as men? Think about it.
No question. No question. Well said, man.
Hands on up and try to, belittle the things that's so precious on this earth.
Power is a sense of empowerment, and then that provides a sense of control. That's how I look at it. And those are individuals you don't want to be associated with, where they have to be the most powerful person in the room and they have all the control. And for a guy like Diddy, I don't know him personally, but because of his success, that provided a sense of power and control.
Hey, Mac, one thing about power?
What's that?
It goes out at some point.
Oh, no question. Just like electricity. Just like that electricity, it go out sometime. That's when you treat people bad. You know what I'm saying? When you treat people bad, no question. Because when you think you're the most powerful one, somebody got way more power than you.
I tell you, man,
You would never be the most powerful individual. You know what I mean? Spiritually or worldly. So you better understand that. And that's what he's starting to realize now. But I think he was enabled so much. No one really spoke up to things that he was doing that wasn't right. He felt like he was powerful. Yeah. You know what I mean? Think about this. That man had to know at that time when he beat up Cassie in that hotel, the type of hotel he was in, he knew cameras was everywhere. But mentally, he was like, man, I can care less about that. I can rectify that.
Yeah.
Think about that, Pat.
He tried to pay the hotel off. I don't know how true that
is.
He
did.
Yeah.
I think he gave him $55,000.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. When he ran into the hallway, into the elevator, he knew cameras was there, but at his mind, he's like, man, I'm Diddy. They tripping. Right. No, because he knew she wasn't gonna say nothing at the time. So he was like, man, let me just find a way to get this video. Yeah.
It was bad, man.
No question, man. But we're gonna see how it play out. But great show, my guy P2. NBA playoffs is on. get a chance to see what's happening right now. I don't know the score, but I know Minnesota and Dallas, they're often running the first half. Huh?
I'll give you an update right now, Coach. It is 37-30 Minnesota.
Minnesota. They're going to be an entertaining series. There we go. Well, Pat P, great catching up with you, my guy. Each week, we're going to see exactly where you are when it comes to your status, training, getting ready for an upcoming season potentially. And we're going to keep it moving from there. All our viewers, thank you again for tuning in. All things covered. Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden. You guys know how we rock and roll. We appreciate your eyes. We appreciate you telling a friend to tell a friend. We appreciate all the subscriptions. Keep it coming. Until next time, see you when we see you. Peace.
Yeah, money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock. Bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.